Get Gutsy, episode number 143. Cash in on your calling as a coach. Welcome to Get Gutsy. I'm your host, Jenny Fennig, and I am so excited to be on this journey with you. A cutting edge show blending business and spirituality, Get Gutsy serves up a potent blend of stories, lessons, and tips to help you make a massive impact in the world through your soul's work and your inspired life. No more going it alone, no more excuses. The world needs more brave women saying yes to leadership. Are you with me? Good. Let's get gutsy now. Hey there, y'all. Jenny here. Welcome back to the show. I got another solo episode for you. I went for months without serving up a solo, which was cool. We had amazing guests on our show, as you know. We have close to 150 episodes now, blowing my mind. And then I turned 40. I gave you an amazing solo called India Sobriety and Turning 40. If you haven't listened to that yet, go listen to it. Recently published. It's actually going to be the most listened to episode of all time, which I'm like, wow, that one really resonated. For so long, it was the episode, because I can look at the stats of our show, and it was the episode with my original mentor, Allie Brown, was the most listened to episode ever. She was in our first week of the show launching, and, Allie's just like the godmother of this industry. And she shared her episode when it came out, which was amazing, and that definitely helped the show, buoyed the show. But now my India Sobriety and Turning 40 episode has taken that top spot. Just about. I think we're like a few away, but probably by the time this is out, it will have. So if you haven't listened to it yet, go listen to it. India Sobriety and Turning 40. Last week I served up a solo to you, which was rad. And this week I have another one for you too. I kind of go in these pockets and waves and cycles and seasons, and I just had a lot of inspiration flowing through me. And so the theme of this episode is cash in on your calling as a coach. It felt very appropriate because that's really my mission. And this month, especially, I am shining tons of light on this because we are enrolling for our coach certification school, and we're about to close our doors on applications, and it's been exciting watching the applications come through. And I went through this big evolution when we were preparing for this next class. It runs from July through October of this year, and I really had to change some things up. I was feeling some shifts. I was feeling transition. I was feeling like the way we've been doing things for the last year just wasn't going to work moving forward. And I realized that I have a responsibility to the coaching industry to evolve it and to ensure that the people who come through our doors, who I put my stamp on, I really feel like they are strong enough to walk this road. And I see something in them, and I had the chance to really, really train them and mentor them and guide them. And so we made a bunch of changes into how we enroll, how we accept applications, the interview process. Like, it's legit. Like, I really just kind of came to this place where I said, this is a school. And, my kids have been at a private school for the last few years. And now some of you know I'm homeschooling my two oldest sons. It's a long story. I've told it in other episodes. But, I look back to how that enrollment process was, and it's like a legit enrollment process. You can't just click a button and sign up. And I just went through some changes, and so I want to make that point because sometimes you're going to go through changes in your business, and what used to work, you're just like, I'm not feeling that anymore. And you're allowed to make change. You're totally, totally allowed to make change. Hence the beauty of this work. Hence, being a human being, you're allowed to change things up. So to any of you who've applied and gotten to that next level, and you've now joined our next crew of superstars, congratulations. If you have not yet applied, this is your last chance. We are closing the door on applications on Thursday, June 29th at 9 p.m. Eastern. You can go to coachtrainingschool.com and click on that button to request an app and then fill it out and send it over to us. This is an extraordinary opportunity. The way we're delivering up this program for this next class, I don't know if we'll do that again for the next class in terms of what's being offered to you. If you go to the page, you'll see that for the first time ever, I am leading a 2-day retreat. I've done lots of retreats, lots of 2 days, lots of 3 days, lots of week longs, lots of 1 days. But the thing that's super special about this one is that I am inviting our students into my home, like legit into my home, where a lot of this magic happens. I kept seeing this visualization in my mind and I couldn't shake it. And I kept seeing sacred circle in my home, in my home, in my home. And I said, okay. And so I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm inviting my people here to sit in circle so I can teach you these tools. I can really go deep with you. I can show you how to lead ritual and show you my home office setup and my tools and my tech and my systems and really just be with you in this space. All of our students, we will, give them a list of suggested really cute places to stay in the area. I live in this amazing spot of the world called the Berkshires. We're in Western Massachusetts. It's a real spiritual place here. We have an energy vortex here, if you're familiar with that. And I was called to come here after my New York City run. I was in New York for 11 years. So again, anyone who's in this next class, you do get this opportunity to come. It's a bonus. It's not required to graduate to come to our retreat, but again, I don't know if I'll ever lead a retreat in my home again. So this is going to be the experiment. And I'm just pumped again, just very much plugged into listening to spirit and answering that call, even if it freaks me out, even if I'm like, oh my gosh, really? I got to lead a retreat in my home? Really? I'm going to do this application again and like get on the phone with prospects, and because that's going to be a lot of time and that's going to open me up to different things. And I keep surrendering and I keep saying yes. And I know that it's my responsibility is to the mission. And that's what your responsibility is to as well. It is to your mission. And if your mission is to guide your tribe to fulfill their greatest potential, then you, in fact, have within you the makings of a coach, and you can cash in on your calling as a coach. And so this episode is going to take you on a journey back in time when I first discovered the field of coaching and hung up my shingle as a coach and business owner. I'm going to share some of the moves that I made to still be standing close to a decade later, having coached, mentored, and inspired thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of spirit-led women on the path. As I looked at our recent podcast numbers, like we're at the time of this will be like over 70,000 listens for this podcast since November of 2015. My email list, we have about 11,000 people on the email list, social media, for me, it's not like the numbers are not what like jacks me up. It's just, it's good to know the number of people you are connecting with. And it's also helpful for marketing too, because you get really savvy with conversion rates and, all these kind of higher level concepts that we do teach our students in Get Gutsy Coach Training School. I'm also going to teach you, I'm going to talk to you about the 3 golden keys you need to master to cash in on your calling as a coach. And you hear me say the term cash in on your calling, and I want to share with you a few years back, I actually had that term trademarked. I've submitted trademark applications for a few terms, and cash in on your calling is one that we have had trademarked. So that is like, I own that, which is very weird, but also you have to do those kinds of things in business because it's kind of legal stuff background, but I've learned a lot of lessons, and so these are the types of lessons that I can share pieces of them on the podcast in broad brush strokes, but when someone works with me closely, I can share like backstories and details and tips and real solid guidance. So I hope you enjoy this episode and just really plug into how you're feeling and what you want this next level to look like for you. How do you want to ride through the rest of 2017? And, we're just about halfway through it, aren't we? And how's it going for you? And are you on a path that you want to continue being on? Are you ready to up level? Are you ready to bring some more heat, some more energy into what you're really meant here to do? So, questions for you. Have you been the go to woman that friends, family, colleagues, and perfect strangers come to when they need guidance? Do you love reminding people of their innate power and gifts? Do you have a knack for lasering in on an issue and shifting to a solution with grace and confidence? Do you read self help books, blogs, advice columns? Think you could write what you just read? Do you listen to podcasts? You're like, I could share, I got tons of stories. I could be on that. I could lead my own podcast, right? Are you saying those kinds of things? Are you ready to step into an exciting, lucrative career and personal growth path called coaching? Like, be honest with yourself. Do you want this? Do you want to get off the sidelines and raise your hand and say, yeah, I'm fucking doing this? Are you ready? Have you been called? Straight up, I was once in your shoes. I was thinking about becoming a coach. Just thinking, just thinking. And what I've learned, y'all, thinking about something does not equal doing it. Yeah. If you feel you're being called to the coaching industry as your career or a supplement to what you're doing now, but you're not sure how to actually be a coach, this message is custom made for you. Don't you just love when that happens? Before I tell you all the things I want to tell you, I want to tell you that you absolutely can do this. You can. You can. You can. This is a story about how I found my way to coaching and built my business as a coach. I want you to see what's possible for you when you say yes to coaching. I like to think of my life as BC and AC, before coaching and after coaching. My entire life changed when I discovered the field of coaching and said yes to an extensive coach training program. The year was 2008 in the month of March. A few months prior, in November 2007, I quit my $175,000 a year job as a conference producer in New York City while in the midst of a 200-hour yoga teacher training program. At that point, I didn't know much about the field of coaching. It hadn't yet exploded onto the internet or in our collective consciousness like it has now. But as fate would have it, I met a woman in a workshop led by Jonathan Fields, who you may have heard of. He has a podcast also, The Good Life Project. This woman was a yoga teacher and a creativity coach. Side note about Jonathan Fields, he trained me to become a yoga teacher. If you know him, you might be like, oh my gosh. He owned a yoga studio in Hell's Kitchen in New York City, and he was my teacher trainer, along with a wonderful woman named Lauren Hanna and many other yoga teachers who were with the studio, but they owned the studio at that time. And so he trained me. It was all perfectly orchestrated, perfectly led. I also have had Jonathan on this podcast about a year ago. You can go back and plug into that episode. So at that point in my life, I was really trying to figure out what the frickin' frick I was doing with my career, since I had quit my corporate job and was needing this next step. Like, what am I doing next? I will tell you everything that I considered. Many of these things I applied for or just did like rabbit hole research, and you're just like on the internet for an unlimited amount of time researching. And you should know too, I didn't have kids yet at this point. I was married for a few years and I knew that kids were on the horizon, but I was like, what am I going to do? I considered becoming a teacher with Teach for America, training to become a nutritionist. I believe I was looking at IIN for that. Taking a corporate fundraising position with St. Jude's Children's Hospital, which felt like it could be compelling, as my sister, if you know about my sister Julie, she died from cancer as a young girl. I considered becoming a marketing executive for a branding firm. I had really had an offer there, and I was just like, I don't know, I'm not excited. Going for my 500-hour yoga teaching certificate. And I also interviewed to be selling yoga apparel at Lululemon in my neighborhood. And I will tell you that I made like back to the first round of interviews, or I got a call back, and I never got a call back again. I was like, I can't even get hired to sell fucking yoga apparel. Like, I was in this total existential crisis. It was really, really intense. And again, I was all over the map. I was looking at a gazillion different things. I think I also applied to work for like O Magazine, and I never got a call back for that too. Oh my gosh. I was I was in a really, really tricky place. Again, I knew I wanted to have babies. This was a consideration for my new career path. I was kind of like, why am I going to go work in a company and then, have to be there all the time? I'm going to get pregnant. I'm going to, only be there for a little bit of time. And, it was again, just as a woman, especially a very, very challenging place to be. And I kept just coming back to this question for myself. What would allow me to make a great impact in the world with my gifts, earn a fantastic income, and this is the kicker, and have a flexible, freedom based schedule with me calling the shots. Because, y'all, I worked in corporate for 10 years. Like, that was typically not it. That's not how it worked. You had to be in that office every day. Somebody else's rules, somebody else's vacation policy, the whole thing. So I needed all those things to be in there. Okay. When I heard the word coach, again, when I met that woman at the workshop, my curiosity was piqued. My body started tingling. Something inside me shifted as I contemplated this path. Something inside me came alive. What was this coach thing? Just what was it? And it was so funny too. I've thought about this before, and then I just remembered right now, is I used to be like, well, I appreciate the products, and I still, my bag tends to be this brand, but I was obsessed with Coach bags, like the brand Coach. I mean, for a while, I was just like, I buy one every few months, because when I was stuck in corporate and unhappy, I was like, well, maybe a new bag will make me happier. But anyway, I carry a bag that says Coach, so I really represent my brand well. And if anyone from Coach is listening and you're looking for a spokesperson, I'm your girl. Like, I am a coach. Let's go. Let's talk. So I madly researched coaching schools and found one that spoke to me to the tune of $9,000 and 10 months of hardcore training. Throughout the course, I evolved into what I had always been deep down inside: a coach, a guide, a teacher. I learned to ask open-ended empowering questions, listen deeply, reframe situations, work with different levels of energy. The list goes on. Most importantly, I found myself again after spending much of my 10-year career feeling like I had taken a wrong turn. Have you ever felt like that? Like you'd taken a wrong turn? I'll tell you, I loved coaching. I loved what it did for both coach and client. Having known so much about psychotherapy after working with my fantastic therapist for several years in New York City, I appreciated how coaching used a different modality to shift energy quickly in high functioning clients who were committed to their growth. Everywhere I went, I would tell friends and strangers what I was up to, and that's exactly how I got my clients. Fun fact, I did not have a website or email list or newsletter until 17 months into my coaching career. So, getting clients at the beginning of my coaching business involved me spreading the word about what I was doing to anyone who would listen and handing out my trusty business cards. And I do think business cards at the beginning are handy. I have to tell you now, I don't have business cards. Some people ask me, "Do you have a card?" I'm like, no, just give me yours. Go to my website. I'm at a different stage of my business. But for a lot of my students, I'm like, yeah, business cards are smart. I'll get some more cards at some point. I don't know. Went into a transition. I was like, I don't really need them right now. I'm okay. I did a lot of 30-minute complimentary coaching sessions by phone. I was able to convert a good number of prospects into paying clients. I'll never forget when I got my first paying client. I was still in coach training, and I was simply over the moon that this woman, a friend of a friend, was interested in hiring me as her career coach. I took it as a sign from the universe that I was exactly where I was supposed to be. When I first started, I would coach my clients 4 times a month at around $300 a month. This was the holy grail of coaching. This is what we were taught in the coaching school I attended. If you could sign a client who wanted the 4 time a month package, you were doing backflips. To accommodate different commitment levels and budgets, I would also offer 2 sessions a month at around $200 a month. I'd assign homework between sessions and would be available for email coaching. Honestly, it felt like free money because I loved the work so much. But I have to tell you, after signing a number of clients into multi month coaching packages, I realized we had a problem. What was the problem? I'll tell you. The model that I had been taught in the coaching school I attended was not going to work long term. It was truly a broken model for a woman like me. Sure, I was having fun coaching my clients. I was making a difference in their lives and I was earning some money. But I got pregnant with my first baby in May 2008. So that's a few months into my coaching journey. I knew I wouldn't be able to coach 5 days a week for hours at a time once my baby was born. I also knew that even if I wanted to keep this schedule, the money simply wouldn't add up to what I desired for my family or lifestyle. And you have to keep in mind too that I was still living in New York City at this point. That's one of the most expensive cities in the world. Up to this point, I wasn't even coaching full time. I was pulling in more money as a freelance consultant, as a conference producer. That was the job I used to do when I worked in corporate. That was my last corporate job. And that role took up about 75% of my work week. I did work from home for that position, which was great. So I was able to coach. I was designing my own schedule, but the conference producing work took up 75% of my work week and it brought in the majority of my income. But I did love coaching and I did not love being a conference producer anymore. I was doing it simply to help pay the bills as I built my coaching business. So I started thinking about what I could do to leverage my time more effectively, step away from my freelance consulting work, and generate more income as a coach. So now the year is 2009. So it's about a year after I started the coaching journey. My first baby, Sean, had just entered the world that January. So what I did was I joined a new mom support group to help me navigate the world of motherhood, which honestly was a godsend. I eventually, because I am built like an entrepreneur and I can sniff out problems and know when I have a solution, I got the idea to launch my own new mom support group on the Upper West Side of Manhattan with a company who was already doing great work with moms and new moms, especially. There was a major need for new mom support groups in New York City and especially in my neighborhood where I lived. The support group concept took off with this company I partnered with. We ended up launching groups for working moms and entrepreneur moms. And because, again, I am trained like an entrepreneur and I want to help every woman succeed, every woman who's committed and all in and isn't an excuse maker and like really is here to help and serve. So I started training other women passionate about supporting moms so they could lead their own new mom support groups through this company that I was partnering with. It was amazing. And I learned that I loved holding space for women to grow. It was during these groups that I saw the magic of women coming together to support each other. I saw the magic of soul sisterhood. And this, honestly, is where my love of group coaching was born. And sacred circle and, being together for rituals and sharing and loving each other up. And this was also the time at this point where like mid 2009, which feels like 8,000 years ago, online marketing was getting some of my attention. Okay. And again, like social media was not blowing up. There was no Instagram. I don't think Twitter was around yet. Maybe it was. I don't know. I've never been a Twitter girl. Facebook was definitely on the scene. And I was kind of noticing like some stuff was going on. I had launched my website and I had paid a designer 1K to build this for me. I was publishing my first newsletter and starting to grow my list on Constant Contact. Okay. And it was definitely an exciting time. I was in some groups on Facebook and I was participating in some online networking groups. And it was in one of these groups that I met a woman who shared an interest in supporting moms online. And this woman knew a lot more than I did about online marketing, about software and teleconferences and sales pages and preview calls and all these things. I really knew very, very little about that. And I was very eager to learn. And so we decided to collaborate and launch a group coaching program online. It was called the Inner Mama Mastery Program. We originally thought it would be 12 months, and then we decided no, we got some really solid guidance that was way too long for our first program. And so we changed it, made it a 3-month program. And honestly, we thought we were going to get like so many people signed up, like 300 easy, maybe a million. No, just kidding. Like we're like 300, yeah, totally. And we had no freaking clue. We got like 10. And then we offered a few bring a friend spots, bring a friend for free spots, which brought our total enrollment to about 16 people. I was crushed. I realized this world was a lot more complex than I thought. I was also so pumped to be working with women from around the world through the power of technology. There was something so magical about this, and I was hooked on the world of online marketing, but I realized I needed to know a lot more if I ever wanted to be successful as a coach doing business with women around the globe. What did I do next? I released my conference production consulting gig. I did it. I was free. And I signed up for my first ever entrepreneur conference for women called Shine, hosted by Allie Brown, who I mentioned at the beginning of this episode. I had just heard of her a few months prior. And I have to tell you, to get the money to buy the ticket to that event, the ticket was about $1,500. I sold my wedding dress to afford that ticket, to buy that ticket. And so when people tell me that they can't like afford to do things, I'm like, girl, you got money in your house right now. Go sell some shit. Go sell some shit and come back to me and tell me what you did. So what I also had to do was I had to leave my son for the first time. He was about 10, 11 months old. I was nursing. I pumped the entire time while I was away because I wanted to maintain that milk supply, and nursing was really important to me. That conference changed my life and saved my business. I would not still be coaching if I hadn't invested in myself and learned everything I needed to know about establishing my brand platform online. And this was important for me. It was absolutely crucial, even though I had a lot of experience in brand building and marketing communications for some of the biggest brands in the world, like M&M's, those candies that maybe you still like or you used to like when you were younger. The cereal company, Kellogg, Hershey chocolate, Polaroid cameras, Viagra. Yes, that Viagra. Those were all former clients during my PR career. The move was crucial even though I had a business background curating and producing highly profitable conferences for marketing strategists at Fortune 500 companies. Like I wasn't a business newbie, but I had to learn online marketing was a whole nother world. I lacked training on how to be an entrepreneur. And I had to learn that shit fast, or else I was not going to be an entrepreneur for much longer. What I want you to know is that being an amazing coach is one thing, but making a sustainable living as a coach is a totally other thing. Do not be fooled by the slick online marketing machine that noisily tells you that bells and whistles with no substance will cut it long term. I want you to take that in right now. All right? Bells and whistles with no substance will not cut it long term. That is not a sustainable approach. So stop believing that it can be enough for you. And don't believe that being the best coach in the world while simultaneously being the most unknowledgeable marketer and entrepreneur in the world will work either. Confident coach plus authentic marketer plus smart entrepreneur equals magic. And when you allow spirit to guide you, and a seasoned mentor to be that physical presence guiding you, ooh, yes, jackpot. I have been a coach and an entrepreneur since 2008. And I was sharpening my skills and rolling out so many courses and programs and masterminds and retreats. And I was attracting amazing, talented clients who wanted to build businesses as coaches, but lacked the foundation, skills, and tools. They lack these things, and so I realized I got to start my own freaking school, right? They lack these elements so that they could coach with integrity, authenticity, and confidence. And so I was coaching these people privately on how to coach and what to do with clients and everything that entailed. And we were making progress, but it was it was like in drips and drabs, and I was doing it all one off. And I realized there's got to be a better way. And I was also seeing that there was so much noise online about making 6 and 7 figures online with your gifts and talents. And so many women, well intentioned, were jumping on the coaching bandwagon as a fast and easy path to cash, clients, and freedom. And no one can blame them for that. But I will tell you the problem with that approach. Without solid training on how to be a coach from a seasoned coach who is actually making a living as a coach, it's a bit like opening a beautiful boutique in a perfect high traffic location with a major issue. You don't have anything to sell. Y'all, I see some people, they're trying to freaking sell air online. I'm like, what are you selling? They don't even know. You got to have something to sell. Sell with integrity. Sell with substance. And if you're trying to follow the crowd and fake your way through coaching, it's only a matter of time before your lack of training catches up with you as you become unable to coach from a place of wisdom, practice, and integrity. Coaching without a framework, without practice and discipline is dangerous. It can quickly erode into caretaking, chasing, codependency, and burnout. And training to become a coach without spending time learning about building a sustainable business, and especially one online if that's what you want, is simply setting yourself up for disappointment and broken dreams. That's why I created something fresh and modern and powerful for the coach training industry. When I launched Get Gutsy Coach Training School more than 2 years ago, it was truly a call to arms for new and aspiring spirit-led coaches desiring to coach from a foundation of strength, skill, strategy, and spirit. I'm so proud of what came through me. What came through me. Oh yeah, and I'll tell you that there's 3 golden keys. And we teach these in our school, and I'm going to touch on them now so you understand what they are. And I'm going to invite you to go check what we have out for you because it's freaking good. coachtrainingschool.com. I mean, it's amazing. And the people who come through our school, and many are, wanting to have this new career, or they are adding this into the work they're already doing as a healer, a psychotherapist, a social worker, a yoga teacher, a consultant, a financial advisor, personal trainer, nutritionist, massage therapist, web designer, writer, network marketer, and more. The idea is that you can earn a great living doing the work you were put on this planet to do, working with clients you adore all over the world, by phone, online, in person. And I hear my husband just walking in the door back there. I've got to leave in a few minutes because I'm going to yoga, guys. I got to wrap up this ep. You can work with people in exotic destinations around the globe. You can work with them at your home as you travel. It's not a pipe dream. It is very, very real. Very, very real. So these 3 golden keys, and again, head to coachtrainingschool.com and you can find out more about them. But top line, number 1, the coach's path, your sacred calling and opportunity. Number 2, skills and tools every transformational coach must master. And number 3, making a great living as a coach, marketer, and entrepreneur. Take those in for a moment. Take those in. I had to go close my door because they're talking out there. I was like, I'll be out in a moment, guys. This is sometimes what you got to do. You got to roll. You got to do it. No excuses. Get it done. So the coach's path, your sacred calling and opportunity. I will tell you this, to truly make it as a coach, you must first go inward to understand why you're being called to coaching. This is a deeply enriching, yet intense, and if you can't deal with intense, don't be a coach. It's an intense personal growth path. And so it's so important to spend time preparing to walk this path with courage, integrity, and confidence, and doing it again with a seasoned guide and doing it around fellow all in coaches. And those are the people that I work with. And you have to look at this. That's what I see a lot online is like these coaches. I'm like, oh, dude, you got to be dealing with your own shit right now. It's just right there. That's step number one. Element two, golden key two, is skills and tools every transformational coach must master. And so this is the juicy stuff that separates pro coaches from the amateurs. You want to get amazing results for your clients, right? This is why you've got to explore and play with these concepts like acknowledging and validating and bottom lining and understanding energetic blocks and forwarding the action in it, asking empowering questions. Like there's so much in our school. We spend the bulk of our time here because I want you to be solid. If you are a great coach, like no matter how the market shifts, you're always going to be solid and people are going to be spreading the word about you. You're going to establish a really powerful reputation for yourself. Okay, and so this is what makes you fucking strong. It's like the Wonder Woman analogy. You know that I'm obsessed with that movie if you listen to my last episode. And this is where I like train you. I like train you. I'm like, come on, let's do this stuff. And then golden key number three is making a great living as a coach, marketer, and entrepreneur. This is where the rubber meets the road. Now that you have what it takes to be a powerful coach, you've got to learn how to set up your coaching business and fall in love with sacred marketing and smart entrepreneurship so you can attract your ideal clients over and over and over again for the long haul. Okay, so those are those three golden keys, and we've organized them so beautifully in our school. And I'm so proud of it, and I'm so pumped I got to walk you through my journey. And I just kind of gave you the journey of the creation of the school. And since then we've trained this class that we have enrolling now for the summer. Once this class comes through, will be over 100 students that have come through our doors in the last 2 years. Again, I'm into a high-end, high vibe, high touch experience. We're not looking for volume where you're getting lost in the crowd and I don't even know who you are. Like I really, at my core, I am this teacher and I love to guide, and I am gonna lovingly kick your ass as a coach as well. And my team is there. I have mentor coaches. We have guest teachers this round. I have Danielle Laporte and Selena Sue and Jennifer Kem and Chantel Adams and Perna Malik, and you can find out all about them on our site. The 2-day live retreat as a bonus. Peer coaching. I mean, it's really, and I would never have been able to create this program had I not said yes to coaching way back when I quit that corporate job and was like, what the F am I doing? And so I want you to trust the call. I want you to trust when you're being called to make moves. And I want you to trust that if this is something that's calling out to you and you want a seasoned guide at your side, then you need to come in now. If you have people in your world who are ready for this, share this episode with them, share the link to our school with them. And now is the time. Now is the time. The time to act is now. Like when you have that call, and the thing that I've also learned is like I work with people who know that now is the time and that you move. You see the opportunities and you move because there's so much at stake. This world is changing and is in need of more spirit-led coaches, honestly. And so I want you to answer that. I want you to answer that. And trust that there are people out there right now looking for your help. Yes, yes, yes. You in it? You in it to win it? Hands up in the air. Yes, yes, yes. All right, y'all. Again, I look forward to seeing your app come through. If this is for you, coachtrainingschool.com. Stay with us. We've got some amazing episodes coming up all summer. I finished production of interviews when was it? Last week I did them was in, I think, early May, maybe late May. I did another round, but I'm not doing any more interviews this summer, but you'll have episodes all summer. I learned to batch those episodes, which has changed my life in such a positive way. And now I get to chill this summer and serve my students in our coaching school. And I'm doing a bunch of travel. I'm leading a retreat in Tulum, Mexico for my mastermind clients. That's in July. Oh my gosh, I'm hanging out with my family. We're going to the pool. I've just developed this dream life. I'm, again, homeschooling my sons in the fall, and I'm already getting a jump start on some of the curriculum and projects and all that. And I'm just really so grateful to be here. And I have to credit the path of coaching and online marketing and all my mentors and coaches who've come before me and guided me and saw me raise my hand for helping me get here. Yes. So, what are you going to do? What's your next move? This is Jenny Fenig sending you so much love, light, and faith as you get gutsy and as you cash in on your calling as a coach. I will see you next time.